called SLA Web Part 2. That's my folder, okay? That's my big folder. Then underneath it, I have an images folder, okay? Just like you should have with you created it on Monday. If you didn't, don't worry. I'm going to show you two different things, okay? If I click on the little arrow, you can see I have 3 images files in my image folder inside my SLA Web Part 2 folder. Okay, I have a folder inside of a folder. Then you can see I have index.html. Girls, let's just break it down like this. Index.html, style CSS, and script. Please let's not use names. My dog, I love grass.html, nothing. Index.html, style.css, script.js. That's going to be beautiful. Okay, at least for right now until you really understand what's going on, because it'll certainly help us as teachers to help you out. Okay. All right. Now, the very last thing is you see this one lonely little image. It is not inside of an image folder. No problem. It is inside of my big folder, which is the SLA Web Part 2. So here's how it works. You will notice we are focusing on line 12 of my code. Let me highlight it. Only line 12. There's my IMG. There's my source. And then right here, it says images. Why? Because that's the folder I have my file inside of. So I have to say, hey, inside of the folder of the SLA web part, which we're already in, go into this other folder called images. Then I have 3 files inside of my image. What one do I want? Oh, I want the wj.png. Okay? Now, I did the same exact thing, okay, with my line 18. Look at line 18. Same thing. Okay? Images /WS, my shoes. But look at the outcome. I have my beautiful jewelry, but I don't have my shoes. Oh, why not? Okay. I wrote images. I did the /. I did the correct file. Okay. Why do I have my beautiful jewelry? It is because I am telling on line 18, I'm telling my source to go into the images folder and find WS. It is not there. Remember, I have the WS all by itself. It's not inside. No problem. Then I don't need to tell my source to go into the images folder. We're already in the SLA Web Part 2 folder, so I'm just going to go and tell it to find that by just erasing / and images. Now, when I save it, now you can see there are my shoes. Now, As Mr. Victor showed you, it is absolutely best practices to have an images folder. So please create the images folder. But if you're crazy confused, don't worry. You can just then say, oh, I don't need to go into a folder that I don't even have. I'm just going to go and ask for the file. Okay. So I hope this will clear it up a little bit. Okay. If you don't have a folder of images and you just have images, then you don't have to tell it to find the folder. Okay. Now, one more thing. Everything that we're doing needs to be inside of your main folder. Everything. Okay. So that's really important. That's why Mr. Victor used the word sub folder for the images. Okay. Now, again, if it's still crazy confusing, we will help you individually either after the CSS portion or after the class and continue with WhatsApp. I will certainly be on there. I'm in Mexico City, so our time differences are different. So you can just, I will do my best to help you, okay? So again, if you have the folder, you tell it, first you say go into the folder at /, then the file of the actual image. If you don't have it in a folder, just go and get the actual image, okay? Okay, and just one more thing that I saw on one of the image of the screenshots that was shown today at 4:30 local your time. Whoopsie daisy. Where's my job? Make sure I noticed it said fashion. That's probably supposed to be your title. It should be inside of your title. Okay. So make sure you have a title here. Then you have your H1, which is the name of your store, and then your stuff. Okay. All right. I'm going to pass it to Mr. Victor. Again, if you don't have images, it's okay because you're not going to be styling your images. You're going to be styling your H2s, H4s, H1s, buttons, and things like that. Okay. All right. I hope that cleared it up. If not, we'll continue clearing it up throughout. Don't worry. After the hour, you still have the WhatsApp. Okay. All right, Mr. Victor, it is off to you, bud.
All right. Thank you, Coach Eric, for that wonderful session. Everyone, I believe you can hear me. Like Coach Eric emphasized, you may not get your image at the moment, but don't be discouraged. Don't give up. You are going to get it. Actually, what we are doing now, it's not in the scope of the image. So the image gets there. Like when you're adding the image, you say that there is, okay, I'll be audio. All right. Okay. Like I said, if you have not been able to get your image, don't be discouraged. You are not left alone. So what we are teaching now is not in the scope of the image. The image comes with its own styling, and that's why we are adding width and height to give it our own. So what we are, the CSS we are going to do is not in the scope. So it means you are still in line. All right. So let me just share my screen. So what we are going to learn today, we are going to learn, you'll be introduced to CSS selector. I know during your school session, we did CSS. we wrote some CSS. But this time around, you are going to learn CSS selector class, to be precise. And we are going to use it to style our fashion. We are going to use it to style your fashion page. And the second thing is that you are going to learn the uses of external CSS. You're going to learn the uses of external CSS. The last time we taught you on how to use the inline CSS and internal CSS. The internal CSS is the one we have the style, open brackets, then we put in our selector. So we are going to learn another one today that has to do with external, the external CSS. After that, you are going to learn how to add link. Obviously, we are going to link our CSS file to our index page. This may sounding as gibberish, but don't worry. By the time we get to work, you will understand better. And the next one, we are going to use color. I know color is not a new thing. We are not just introducing color. We use color very well. Like if I can remember, I know we use color very well last time. We did use background color, font, and the normal font color. And the other one is we are going to style our order button. The order button you've already created. You know, it's looking dull. It's just looking dull. So we are going to use CSS to beautify it so that it looks attractive. And even you, as the developer, as a programmer, you will want to click it during your idle time. All right, going to CSS simple selector. There are three categories of CSS simple selector. The element selector has to do with, let's say I have like 5H1 in my index.html. I have 5H1, and this is a particular one I want to select. Do you understand? So for me to do that, I have to use my element selector. Okay, this is element selector. But if I use that H1, if I put color red, all the H1 in the index page will be colored as red. And that takes us to the next one called ID selector. CSS ID selector is a unique within a page. Maybe as time goes on, as we begin to advance, we'll learn the uses of ID selector very well, especially in JavaScript. JavaScript doesn't play with ID. Very, very, very important. So it is used to select a specific ID. It is used to select an element with a specific ID. Example, watch this example. If I have my HTML and I have different paragraph, P, you know that P is paragraph, but I want to style this particular one that has my name. So there is no how I can tell my CSS that this is the particular one I want to style. So I have to, in order to do that, I have to add a selector called ID. So I will say ID is equal to paragraph 1 or para 1. Are you getting me? Let me check the, if you are playing with me, just put yes in the chat box. If we are on the same page, put yes in this chat box so that it doesn't look as if I'm casting it. Thank you, Treyo. Thank you for taking the lead. All right, can we have two more? Thank you, Ratunde. Thank you, Helen. All right, so we are good to go. Like I said, so if I have HTML here and I want to style, my name is Victor. So to do that, I have to add ID is equal to para 1. ID is equal to para 1. And that means for me to see it in CSS, for me to see that in CSS, I have to use hash as a selector or a character. We call it hash character. No. Let me let me go to my VS Code and quickly do that. Let me go to my VS Code and quickly do that. Let's share my screen. All right. So I'm going to navigate back to my CSS. Oh, all right. Please just ignore this. I have H1. Okay, I have paragraph. The first paragraph say I'm in science department. I'm going to use this. The other one say biology teaches us about living things. The other one say through biology we can understand nature, right? Now this is the particular one I want to start with. This particular one. All these are paragraphs. So if you want to use CSS external file, if you want to use it, we already created our style.css. This is a mistake. Should be style.css. Style.css. So if I'm writing P, right? P, and I say the color should be red. If I say P and the color should be red. If I go back to my index and I do my live show preview, nothing will happen. Nothing will happen here. The reason is that, number one, my CSS is not linked to my index page. And that takes us back to our that for external CSS means you are creating your CSS file not inside the index page. It is external, something outside. That's why we call it external. So which means this style.css file you have to create in section 1 that we ask you to create, it is called CSS external file. And for you to now link it to your HTML, you have to use this syntax. Link rel style sheets href equal to style.css. So we are going to write this now. Everybody, you are going to write it. This is it. Link is equal to rel equal to style sheet href style.css. I'm going to go back to my this and do it for you so that you can all see it. Let me make this book. This is my style.css. It is not inside this, and that's why it's external file. But from what I'm doing to appear here, I have to link this. I have to link my CSS to my index. Whether you are using phone, laptop, anything you're using, please follow this. And if you are linking, you link inside the head tag, the head element. You link inside the head element. So what am I going to do? Immediately after my title, I will click on enter, still in the head, and type. I'm going to type. So I need to check your message. Okay. All right. I think we've addressed the issue of images. All right. David, I hope you can hear me now. David, I hope you can hear me. I hope you can hear me now. All right. So to link, I am now going to open a tag and type link. Please do that. REL. This is rel. So immediately you type it, whether it's your phone or your laptop, it will suggest it and just click on it. Just click on this, then it will come this way. It's just telling you what type of data type is this, what type of type is this. It is a style sheet. And that's why I'm just going to put style sheet here. CSS is a style sheet, and that's why we call it cascading style sheet. CSS is a style sheet, and that's why we call it cascading style sheet. Then after that, add a space and type href. This is the reference. where you are linking to or what you want to link. Once it brings out this, click again. I hope you are following. Then type style.css. Please, it is important to type it well, to have the right, and that's why we ask you to use style.css so that you don't end up using using your or the combination of your names and .css. It will be difficult for you to start typing them here. And that's why we ask you to use style.css, as simple and precise. So just type style.css and close it. You are done. You can see that all my red is now showing red. All my paragraph, all my P, they are showing red. Now because I link. Now because I link. Please go ahead and do that quickly. Go ahead and do that quickly before we start writing our code. Go ahead and do that quickly. I'm going to minimize this so that we can see it very well. Link, this is it. Link rel is equal to style sheet href style.css. Style.css. All right, I'm going to give you just 2 minutes to do that. 2 minutes. Two minutes to do that. Two minutes to do that. All right, I consider you have done it. If you have done that, put it in the chat box. Just say done, done. Put it in the chat box, done. Thank you, Inioluwa. Link it. Thank you, Babatunde Ayokumi and Treasure. Thank you. All right, all right. So I'm glad you were able to do that. So let's go to the next one. Now the next one is now CSS selector. Class selector. Class selector works like ID selector. It uses a character called dots. To select elements with specific class, write a period called dot character followed by the class name. Don't worry about the grammar. Now, what I'm saying, what that means is that if I want to style my P, I will just class is equal to P minus 3. Please take note. I'm going to say this till I leave this class. If you want to add class, if you are creating a class name, don't add space. If you are creating a class name, please don't add space. If you are creating a class name, please don't add space. If you are creating a class name, please don't add space. We are going to try it so that it will stick. So if I want to use my class, now can you see that all my paragraph here, we are red. But let's say the only one I want to style is this. The one that has, I am in science department. To do that, let me expand this. Between this is the open tag of paragraph. This is the closing tag.
312, sent a long message.
This is paragraph. Let me add space so that we can have it separated. This is the one I want to style. Biology teaches this. So for me to do that, between the open tag, I'm going to create a space and add class, not outside. Please take note, not outside. Inside the paragraph, the open one, I'm going to add space and class. The moment you type class, it will suggest just click on it. They are attributes, and that's why they choose like this. So I'm going to give it a class of maybe subjects. Subjects. And if you must give it a two name, maybe biology subjects. Okay, I'll deal with that. Subject. Then I will now go back to my .css and say what? Let me remove this. I'm going to say dot class uses dot character. If you don't add this dot, it will not work. Example, I say dot subject, right? If I do just subject, if I do subject and I say color should be teal. If I go back, nothing happened. Can you see? If I scroll up and down, nothing happened. Because I did not put my dots. For your code editor to know that you are referring to it, you must add dots. Dot subject, and I will click this. Let's see. See now that my biology teaches us about everything has changed. It has changed. Please, I want you to really pay attention. All right. Now the next one, hold on. Please still pay attention. Pay attention. Let's say I want to use biology subject, and I'll use biology space subjects. I use biology space subjects. Now let's go and try it. Let me say dot biology space subjects. Can you say anything? It won't work. It will not work. If you are combining two words, if there is need, then you need to add, just like we did for the image, you need to add an underscore or a dash. So if I put this, then I go back to my CSS and adjust it by putting dash. Check it again. You can see that it has now applied. All right. So you are going to use this. Now you are going to add a class of to your maybe welcome to Susan Wears. Add a class. My own class is heading. You may want to add a class called heading to yours. Add a class called heading. And go to your CSS, add a class called heading first. You can see many comments. Can you use the files to have more room? Okay, all right. Noted, Cherry. Oh, that was an example. I'm just showing you an example. Now it is time to now do it. It is time to now do it. In your own H1 class, you have a class of heading, isn't it? Now add this heading, class heading, add class heading. No, don't write heading in your style.css. This is index.html. Please take note, this is index.html. In your H1, put space class of heading, like the way I just taught you now. Do that, and if you are done, say done. If you have done that, say done in the chat box. Put done in the chat box if you are done. Wow, treasure. Thank you. Thank you for taking the lead. Thank you for taking the lead. All right, let's go, lady. Apology if your network is kicking you out. I've only seen one person. Only Treasure. What about the rest? Put down in your H1. Your H1 is your heading. Thank you, Obedience. Babatunde, thank you. All right, one more person. One more. One more. One more. One more. Add class heading to your H1. Your H1 is the one that has your title. Welcome to Susan Reyes. Thank you, Ellen. Thank you for helping us. All right, so we go on to the next one. So I haven't done that. It is time to now style it. Now go back now to your style.css and add this. Dot heading, open your curly brace and put background color. Put background color, put a color of white and add a padding for 8 pixels. In your style.css, remember to use the dot character. Remember to use dot heading. Remember to use dot heading. Background color is teal. I will give you time to change it to your own background, to your own color later. But just for learning's sake, please use this. Use this first. Use this first. If you are done, put heading in the chat box so that I can differentiate from the previous charts. Put heading in the chat box if you are done. I've seen one person. Can I have two more? Two more. Right, thank you. One more person. One more. One more, one more, one more, one more. Let's be fast. One more person. Thank you, Obedience. Thank you, Treasure. All right. Thank you, Babatunde. All right. For those of you that are still finding it difficult, this is what I ask you to do. Add a class. Add a class of heading. Add a class of heading, right? Go to your CSS file. Sorry. Go to your CSS file. Then type dot heading equal to background color of teal, color of white, and padding. What's padding? Let me check again. 8 pixel. Yes. Now this is what it looks like. This is what it looks like. So now I have a heading like a banner that says, okay, welcome to Susan stores. Welcome to my store. All right. Thank you. All right, so let's go to the next one. Now the next one is the price. You know, the price, we want to, okay, the price should be 3,500 naira. So this time around, we are going to add a class called price. Now, this is what you should do. I know some of you already have this as a price. You have something like this. Okay, so that time. During the price, we use something called we use strong, right? We use the strong to say AGN equal to 25,000 naira. Seriously. This is what we used. So what you are going to do now, remove the strong, remove it. Remove the strong, just leave it with the paragraph only. So it's going to come to this tiny loop. Remove the strong. Remove the strong. If you have done that, put remove. Put remove in the chat box. Put remove in the chat box. If you have done that, put remove in the chat box. Thank you, your economy, for taking the lead. All right, so I'll just go on to the next one. Remember, after that remove, now put a class called price. Put a class called price. Price. Put a class called price. If you have done it, put price in the chat box. If you have done it, put price in the chat box. Thank you, Treasure. Remove, put price. Okay, thank you, Inioluwa. All right, thank you, guys. I can feel you. Thank you, thank you. All right, if you have done that, what we are doing for the price is very simple. What we want to do is that we want to change the price to, number one, we want it to be bold. I want the color to be red. Instead of using strong, you know, we added the strong to make it bold. Then we are going to use CSS. Instead of doing that with HTML, we use CSS to do that. One thing CSS helps you to do is to write a clean code. Clean code. Do you understand? So go back to your CSS and type .price. .price, color to be red. Then font weight. Font weight. Font weight to be what? 900. Now see, it's now bold. Is now bold. Now bold. Yes, if you use H2, it's fine. If we use H2, add a class. What we are after is class. Add a class to it. If we use H2, add a class to it. If we use H2, add a class. Just add a class. Is the class we are targeting. No, yes, no need. There's no need for P tag. Just add your class. You can see that we are not even after the P tag. We are after the class. Whether you use H2, H3, H5, H6, it doesn't matter. Oh, treasure, you are kicked out. So sorry. If you are done, just put type weight, 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 weight. Type weight in the chat box if you are done. Please, if you have done that, test your code. If it's working, okay, write it and test it and put tested. Write it and test it and put tested. Thank you, Nolua. Test your code, and if it's working fine, put tested. Tested. So I'm here to tested. 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 All right, I can see, okay, wait, means you've written it. Tested means you have tested it and it's working. Yes, yes. Thank you, Ineolua. All right. So the last one we are going to write for today, which we are going to now use, you are going to use this same method to write your other ones, to style the other things you want to do. The next one is the button. You can see I'm not talking about the image. I don't even have it too. So if you are feeling you don't have image, I don't have it too. So you are not alone. Don't feel left out and don't be discouraged. Do you understand? You can see that what we are styling is the heading, the price, and the title, and the next one is the button. So please don't be discouraged. So the next one we are going to write quickly because of our time is the button. The button is looking so dull. To me, it's looking so dull. So it is time to write the button. Now, one thing is that this button, for the button, we are not going to write any class. The reason is that for the button, we decided not to add a class because we want to use this style. We want this style to be applied to all the buttons in our fashion page. It means all the buttons in our fashion page, we inherit this style. And that's why we don't want to use class. What do I mean by that? What do I mean by that? Can you write all this? Write this. Just go to your CSS. No class, don't put class for the button. This is element selector. I hope you know that. And we are going to do both. Button, the first one, I have to check the code. Padding, I'm going to do. All right, let's pick padding first. Background color. Background color, the teal. Mind me, I like that color. All right. Let me collapse this. Background color to the teal. Please don't write outside these curly braces. If not, your code will not move. I haven't done that. Then I will say color. Color should be white. Just pay attention. Pay attention to my preview. Pay attention to my preview. This. Pay attention to this. What's the next thing? It's still not looking fine. I want these edges, it's too sharp. I want it to curve. To do that, I'm now going to say border radius. Border radius. Border radius, I'm going to use what value? 5. Oh, sorry. Border radius 5px. Can you see? It has curved a little bit. That's a little bit. So it's going to be in the index or style. I'm sorry for asking, my network not that. All right, we are in the style.css. Anytime you see something like this, you can see style.css. Style.css. We are styling. Anytime we are styling in style.css. We are writing HTML code, we are writing index.html. Take notes. All right. We have 3 minutes more. All right. So there's something I still want to do. I want to add padding so that this up and down can have enough space. Do you understand? So I'm going to say padding. Now watch this. In padding, instead of doing padding top, padding right, padding bottom, because of typing, okay, for learning sake, let me go padding right. The padding right side, I will use 5px. I'm going to do for padding left too, and use the same 5px. Then padding top and padding bottom. Padding top. Maybe padding top, let me use 8 as well. Px. Then padding bottom, I'll use 8 as well. 8px. All right, if this button is looking good to you, to me, maybe there's something I still need to add. Instead of 8, I can change this to 7. Then I can use 9 here. 9. Okay, I think it's fine to me like this. Then you can see the color is rhyming with my page. Okay, go ahead and do that. I know it's a bit lengthy. But I'm going to give you time to write that. Thank you. The use of padding. If there is no padding, now when this padding is removed, when this padding is removed, check the button. Can you see? They are compressed. But when I add padding, give it space. Can you see? There is space between the text and the button. Padding gives space within the content and the body. Do you understand? Put yes in the chat box if you understand. All right, please write and test it. I can see Babatunde is saying done. All right. If you are done with your code and you've tested it, put order in the chat box. Thank you. Put order. Thank you, people. Thank you for acknowledging you that you understand. So before I'll come back to this. If I now had different button in my index.html, if I add another button, maybe I have something like this again. Control C. If I have something like this again, I'm going to remove this. So let's say I have another category, another H2, category of hair accessories. Can you see? In as much I'm adding my class and I'm adding my this. So if I want to change the price, I will just change the price instead of changing the class. I can say this one is 203,000. My button, I'll keep getting that same styling for my button. And that's why we did not use class. I'll keep getting that same styling for my button. All right. So please write, let me check the chat box. Order. Thank you, Inioluwa. Thank you. So please, I'll give you just 1 minute or two to complete this before I hand over to Mr. Toby. Please, if you are done, put order in the chat box. Put order in the chat box. Thank you. Thank you, Baba. All right. And what's the record? The record will be shared on your WhatsApp too for those who network keep kicking you out. Now, listen, this is what you should do. So before I hand over to Mr. Toby, you must add these other skills like you see what you have learned now, the color, the boldness, the background color, add it to your other elements, your H2, your other categories. I only did one category, the clothing. You have fashion, you have shoes, add it, style it very well, give it a background color. You can color the body. I taught you with how to do that too. So go ahead and, exert your CSS skills. All right, Mr. Toby, are you ready? Mr. Toby, can you hear me?
Yes, my system is lagging a bit, so I'm trying to
Okay.
open up the PPT.
All right, let me know when you are ready.
Okay.
All right, for those that are still copying codes, please, this is another opportunity for you. Yes, you can. You can. All right, Mr. Toby, I can use my system for you. Then
Okay.
just talk to it.
Okay. So that'll
Okay.
be,
All right.
that'll be better.
All right.
Okay, quickly. Thank you very much, Mr. Victor. Thank you, Coach Eric, for everything. So I believe that we've been learning a lot and it's been fun. So while we're still trying to get the other things done, we have questions for you. And this is an opportunity for you to give us feedback on all you have been learning since, and then show us, or so that we are sure that you've actually been learning all this while, and the instructors have not just been talking on their own. So the first question that I have here, you can basically put the answers in the chat. You can also unmute your mic to speak if you can, but preferably you can put your answers in the chat. So the first question that I have here is, what is the difference between inline styling and external styling? What is the difference between inline styling and external styling? Anybody? You can put your answers in the chat. Do we have anybody volunteering to answer the question? Are we together? Can we all hear me? Okay, we have an answer in the chat. And Favor is saying that inline styling can be defined with style, while external styling is defined with class. Another person in your Lua. Okay, you can go ahead and speak.
Inline styling, they are part of the HTML file, while external styles, they are separate files,
Okay, that's correct.
which needs to be linked to the index file to be able to work.
Thank you very much. That's correct. Mr. Victor, do you like to add anything? Would you like to add anything to that?
I think
Yep.
she just said it all.
Yeah.
That's why it's called external. External means something outside. Do you understand? So yeah, it's not about the styling. It's not you adding style or class. I can use class for internal styling. Do you understand? But the fact that it is outside the index file, that's why it's called external. And it must be linked, like she said. If you don't link it, it won't work. Good one.
Thank you very much. Favor, thank you as well. So to the next question. Okay, so the next question says, what is the difference between color and background color in CSS? You can raise your hand if you'd like to talk. You can also drop your answers in the chat. What is the difference between color and background color in CSS? I'll assume somebody's typing already. Anybody? What is the difference between color and background color? Okay. I think I have somebody's mic unmuted. In Yolua, do you want to help us? In Yolua, are you helping us? Any other person, please, quickly? Just an idea. What do you think it is? You don't have to know exactly the answer, but just tell us, what do you think it is? What do you think the difference between color and background color is?
You can also describe it based on how you have used it. You may not know the right what is it called? A predefined
Yeah, the right words
definition.
to use.
Yeah, just explain it how you used it.
Anybody? Nobody? So it seems nobody has an answer to this. Mr. Victor, would you help us?
All right, so I guess some of you are skeptical. Maybe okay, we
Okay.
have
Okay. Eileen is saying background color. It sets the background color of an HTML element, while the color sets the color of a text in an HTML element, and that's correct. Thank you very much. That's correct.
we have evidence. Inioluwa and
Inioluwa, you want to say something?
You can go to
Okay.
them. They got picked out.
Okay, let's move on to the next.
Please, I mean the next slide.
Okay, the next question says, what is the difference between inline styling and external styling? It's still the same question we asked earlier. It's the same question from earlier. Okay, so quickly, so we want to hear from you. From today's session, what did you find most challenging in today's session? To 1 or 2%, we want to hear from you. What exactly did you find most difficult in the class today, in today's class? You can raise your hand to speak, or you can also drop it in the chat if you don't mind. What did you find most challenging in today's session? Okay, Favor is saying how to link the CSS with the HTML. Okay. Why was it okay? Mr. Victor.
Yes, please go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. Favor, I was going to ask, why was it difficult? Do you mind speaking? Why was it the most challenging part for you? Oh, okay, I understand. So she's saying that our speaker is not too loud, so she couldn't hear clearly while the instructor was explaining that part. Okay, understood. But okay, Mr. Victor.
Were you able to do it? Were you able to link? Okay. Treasure and Inioluwa, were you able to now link? Were you able to link at the end of the day?
Okay. Okay.
Inioluwa was able to link. What about Treasure? Okay, you were able
Okay,
to.
she said yes.
All right. Okay. All right. Please, please send the screenshots of your HTML, your CSS, and your web page. Please send it to the WhatsApp platform today, please. Please, as soon as you are done adding your color and the other ones, please send them to the WhatsApp platform. You have another student, Mr. Toby. Obedience.
Okay, obedience. David is saying how to add color to the fashion page. How to add color to the fashion page. Okay, you mean the HTML, the page as a whole with background color. Is that what you mean? Or the CSS styling? Okay, this style. Okay, CSS. And how did you overcome that? Have you been able to overcome that? Have you been able to complete that? Obedience. Obedience, we're waiting for you before I go to Treasure's question. Okay. Okay. Quickly, Treasurer Bito is saying that, sir, I did the CSS, but it is not working on the index HTML. Mr. Victor, would you like to ask further questions or quickly help?
All right. Okay, I will just say to them, I will ask to try to buttress more. So what happened is if your class is not properly defined, if your class is not properly defined, then you need to go and define your class. And you must ensure you have linked your style.css to your HTML. You must ensure you have done that. Now, on a quick one, this is it. So this is my index.html, and I have linked it here. This is where I linked it. This is where I linked it. Link rel style sheet style.css. And that's what we are saying. Don't put style.css. No. Put style.css. Because I know some of you like space a lot. Now watch this. If you do style space CSS, it will not work. Can you see that nothing is working here? So please don't add space. It must be style.css, no space, no space. In renaming file, space is forbidden. Just have it like that. Space is forbidden. Do you understand? So if you have done that and you are targeting the right elements, the right class, I'm 100% sure, and I'm assuring your code will work. Please do all those things and ensure you send your code. Send your code to the WhatsApp platform. Thank you. And for the student talked about, is it compulsory? It is, because if you are building a complete site, you're going to write CSS. You're going to write lines, like maybe 500 lines of code. If you are adding 500 lines of code to your HTML code, you will not, even you will not be able to read it. It will be too jam-packed. It will be too clumsy. You will not, you won't understand each line of code. And for you to have a neat code, right? So you need to separate those files, and that's why we separate them. Do you understand? Mr. Toby.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Victor. Quickly, aside from the questions that we have had, any other question? And do understand that you can continue to drop your questions on the WhatsApp group. Also, do not forget to send screenshots of your index HTML code, your styles.css code as well. Do not forget to drop your screenshot on the WhatsApp group as well. Any other question before we round up? For today. Okay. I'm going to believe that we don't have questions for now, and we'll drop it in the WhatsApp group. Thank you very much for your time. Keep trying. Remember that you are expected to Remember that you are expected to go ahead to add more styling to your fashion web page. Play around, explore your creativity. There's more to what our mind can do. The way you want your web page to be in your mind, try as much as possible to make it happen. Add colors, add background colors, make it bold, and exercise the CSS skills that you have learned today. So from my end, I would say do have a nice day. Thank you very much, Mr. Victor Kocherik. Any last things to say?
All right, everyone. See you tomorrow. Keep practicing, keep coding. Don't give up. Don't give room for discouragement. Refuse to give up.
Kocherik Kasi.
Yeah, great job, everybody. Remember, Rome was not built in a day. You're not going to learn this in one day. Just keep going with it. If you have any questions, throw it in the WhatsApp and we'll be answering throughout the day. Have a wonderful rest of your night, and we will see you tomorrow with a brand new edition of SLA Bootcamp. Thank you so much. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.